chased it for years.
Stop. Don't want to put it up here. Oh my gosh, no. It's ConvoTime. This is the show where we talk about anything and everything that has to do with young adults. And as you know, I've got my guys with me. Topstar, say hi.
Yeah.
Man, Toby?
I don't know, I'm always awkward at introductions.
Man like Toby. You should be used to it by now.
Yeah.
Man Toby. In the building. Man's right here.
Yeah.
Got the beautiful Regina.
Hi.
How you doing? I like the green.
Thank you.
How we doing? Green.
I got a silk on y'all today, okay?
What's going on? And the gorgeous Lillian,
AKA the melanated boss.
the melanated boss.
She's
She's a boss.
The melanated boss.
I
Okay.
heard boss.
You want dictionary?
Melanin.
Melanated.
Melanated. Okay.
Okay.
Melanated.
Okay. The boss. Marinated. She tastes nice. She's marinated.
Marinated.
Okay. Moving on. Lillian, how you doing?
I am fangirl.
I can see your fan glowing.
Thank you.
Is there a little something behind it? Is Uncle Bay?
Oh, there's
What's
a new
in this
bae.
one?
Yes,
New
that's the
bae.
smell. And I recently just had my birthday.
Oh my goodness! Happy birthday, Lillian!
Thank you. And I had like a whole lavish surprise thing done by him. So I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness! Did we have a spa day?
spa day, high tea, and like dinner and stuff like that. I was just like, oh, babe.
Somebody, oh, it's the last time we had spa day.
It's okay. Moving on. We're in the honeymoon phases, I suppose, so that's why I was like.
Oh, that sounds so nice. Did you have a spa day?
Oh my gosh, yes we did. And then he took me to like some high tea at Vertigo 42.
Oh, so
and then like the
fancy.
whole view of like London and then like a dinner thing. But yeah, I'm like literally obsessed with the guy right now. But prior to him, I used to think like all men are trash. Well, some men are trash.
Some women are Loma also.
Some women are what?
Loma. The
Loma.
Yeah, man, Nigerian people know.
Lawnmower.
Loma.
What's Loma?
They carry trash in Nigeria. They don't like clean trash.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was it last man?
No, last man.
Last man.
My Niger people know. Don't worry. Trust me.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, you said your prior
Relationships. Yeah, because I mean, as a single person, I feel like you really just go through it. Like, so earlier on, it was the case of, trying to get with all these big shots and stuff like that or whatever. And then you get
When you say big shots, are we talking sugar daddies here or something? Or?
No.
Okay, just...
No.
No, I don't know if I'm the only one, but when I think big shots, when a girl says to me, I'm trying to get with big shots,
I meant was
I'm okay.
big
As long as you weren't one of them.
Stable. Successful.
Has
a job.
Yours is legal.
What I meant to know.
Okay, we understand now. Carry on.
Big shot to me in my early days was, Shonisha, does he have a job? I think that was like my basic criteria or whatever.
So the man's not on job, you can't date him.
Why would I? No, first of all, how are you going to date someone? Where are you taking me with no money? Please,
So see, that's why your last relationship, you are falling for all those. You can't say like, why do I have to take you somewhere?
No, but see, the thing is, over time. So when I started working and stuff, I had my own money or whatever. Then it became the stage of, okay, I'm no longer looking for this as a criteria or whatever. But then the whole issue of intimidating men came up. So like there's like different stages to my whole like dating life. And then now I'm at a stage of, okay, I'm comfortable, I'm stable. There's certain characteristics that I'm looking for in a man. Like, does he have a job? Is he stable? Does he have like a vision? Does he have like long-term goals? Like, what's he about? Because I know exactly what I want to do and where I'm going. I need a partner to match that.
Yeah.
But earlier on, it was more just about, free for all. Let's just go with the flow. I'm not going with the flow right now.
So now you're ready to settle.
There's goals. There's like a whole, it's not going with the flow.
The previous one ended because there was too much flow.
Because he was toxic.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by
define
that?
toxic?
You say he's toxic.
So like, for instance, like certain things I look for in a relationship, like, okay, do you have good communication skills? Like when we get into an argument or whatever, if I'm looking at you and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get married to you and whatever, like how do you deal with certain situations? Am I able to cope with that in the long run. And in his case, not to name any names, going to an argument, I woke up and my guy blocked me. So like, yeah, you see the reactions right there.
Oh wait, there's
He
no
blocked
way.
you.
Blocked me.
Yeah. Okay.
Come from communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you have a fight?
Yeah, so, and I was like, okay, we'll sleep, wake up. Me, I was even like,
You said
I'm
it's
sorry,
okay.
can you get... No,
I'm sorry, that's childish.
It really is, and this is coming from...
A lot of
because-
girls block, so don't be throwing it out there like.
I find that
No,
childish
but in
too.
this case,
Yeah,
it was
okay.
really childish
Depends on
because...
it depends on what it is. His case is childish.
Yeah, and he was
But
way older than me
to
as well,
block,
but I
cancel,
guess...
delete buttons are very, very vital.
No, it
I
depends
have
on,
to say.
like you said, if you're blocking somebody that doesn't matter
Yeah,
to
yeah,
you.
that's what I said.
And that's
His
the
case
thing.
is
But if you're
childish.
blocking your girlfriend
Yeah,
or
his
boyfriend,
case is
And that's
childish.
what leads me to my next part, is like, I don't know, I just find, I'm looking for someone, or I found someone, I suppose.
aww.
In his case, he didn't value me as a person or whatever. Like, you can tell these signs, like, they're all red flags sometimes. Do you get what I mean?
You
Like,
see that it starts. Though.
I didn't see it at the start. And that's
Okay.
because you're just blinded by the glitz and the glam, it's honeymoon stage and
infatuation.
everything else or whatever. And he treated me really, really well.
Like this
So
one
he
is
was a
shitting
big
you
shot.
also.
So basically, this one is treating me better than that person. So when you come from like toxic relationships or whatever, you're kind of like, okay, you know what you want. So he gave me a glimpse of what I wanted. I didn't think I would find better, but now I have.
Okay.
But you see, still at honeymoon stage, so you never know. You can't
Exactly.
tell.
But
See?
I feel like earlier on, I avoided the signs rather than I was able to tell.
Oh, okay.
It's just you just block them out, or you think, okay, you can work on this, you can work on that, but
Okay.
sometimes you just can't.
Now, my question for you is this. Sorry that I'm attacking you. It's just kind of like I'm trying to understand the whole idea of the whole toxic thing. Were you perfect for the other guy?
I mustn't have been if I got blocked.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like for me, I feel like
Yeah, it's a
two-way-
compatibility thing. And to be
yeah.
quite fair, like now, you know, like earlier on, like when you're like dating and stuff, you get bitter. You're like, oh, that guy's trash. Like, but now, like after that breakup, I was just kind of like, you know what? We just weren't compatible.
Yeah, see,
it just
there
didn't
you
work
go.
I
out.
think that's something that a lot of people don't do, especially women. We don't do this where you leave a relationship that is toxic and you don't sit down to evaluate or analyze what happened. You
just
jump
into the next one.
And a lot of times, like you said, we're bitter, we're angry, we're blah,
Sure.
blah. But sometimes we need to sit back and say, okay, was I right all the time? Is there something I had done wrong that he didn't like? Or, you know, a lot of time we need to evaluate our own self before jumping into another relationship. Because if you don't know what you want, how's
You
he
just
supposed
like
to
go
know
for
what he wants?
everything.
Yeah,
I won't lie, I
yeah.
do agree on the level of like there. I know several women that can be very stubborn when it comes to relationships, and they believe that once they end one, they were right to end it, but not realizing that they weren't necessarily wrong to end it, but it was actually their fault. It needed to be ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they seen it as, oh, I can find the exact same guy, and because he was good, but he wasn't good enough, so I'll find somebody that is better. Whereas you haven't fixed yourself.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
And I
doing
mean,
the same thing and
That's why I asked
expecting
that
a
question.
different result. Isn't that
It's
insanity?
mental.
That's what they say.
It's mental. What are you
It
doing?
really is.
But then sometimes
Can
it is
I
the guy.
ask, can I ask a question? Like, what are, like, we're talking about toxic relationships. Can we break it down to the different types of toxic relationships?
Always checking my phone.
'Cause for her, I think you mentioned that, okay, he wasn't, I don't know if it's like you said, he wasn't focused or he didn't have like a goal or something.
So like for
So was that toxic to you, or?
it's not about like he didn't have a goal or what. I just felt like he wasn't putting in the effort
Okay.
that, not that he wasn't putting in effort. Let me explain it better.
Childish. Isn't
I
it?
just felt like there's a certain way I like to be valued or cherished or like, you know, shown up. Like everybody has a different type of love language. You can't love me the way you expect or envision me to be loved. You need to love me the way I want to be loved.
Okay.
And I felt like he didn't do that. So he had this whole ideology of, oh, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z because social media is doing X, Y, and Z, or this is this and
Oh,
this
like,
is that.
why
Like
do you have to go this? 'Cause
yeah, because everyone's doing it. Or
Yeah.
and in my case, it's like,
It's
what if
because
I actually just
everyone
like
likes
it?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
Do you know what I
take
mean?
out time to study you. He
As a
just-
person,
But
yeah.
here's my question, because I'm always looking at. I like to look at it from the other point of view as well. Did you
Thank you.
give him that opportunity to actually understand that this is what I do want?
I gave him plenty, and because I'm very like vocal because of my past experiences of, okay, you just get angry, you flare up, and you walk out, and all of this other stuff, and you haven't actually said what is wrong with you. So I've learned from that. So now I'm very vocal. I'll tell you. I'll sit you down. I'll be like, okay, this is what I expect, this is how I'm feeling, whatever, X, Y, and Z. As my man, if you don't take that on board, already that's a red flag for me. Because if we get married or whatever, and I'm having like, no matter how small or how big the issue is or whatever, you should have that, like, even if you don't agree with it, at least have some form of, I hear what you say. Like, I'm hearing what you're saying. Yeah. I'll try to adapt to what you're saying. And if it's not possible, then everybody be on your merry way. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't always agree. So
you're not
I think
always
what you're
gonna
saying
agree.
is just be open to, like, listen to that person, and then even if you don't agree, here, love, I don't agree with it, but I respect whatever you're saying, and we move on. Like, everyone happy, we move on with our...
Okay, I get that, but I just want to address the level, because I'm sorry, this is obviously, like, for you, it was toxic. When people hear toxic, they think disaster.
Yeah.
They think, like,
you're
they think
abuse.
Yeah.
They think,
it's not
but
always
obviously
abuse.
there's a different level for you. So does that mean that, for me, that's basically saying everybody has their own level of toxic.
Yeah.
So for you, I know people that have been in relationships where they would say, they were being physically abused or mentally abused by this guy or whatever, which obviously when you think of that, that's toxic.
Yeah.
Like, you can't marry somebody like that. If you do, obviously you are able to handle that situation, or maybe you can't and you just feel like that's the best you can do. Again, that's even come back to that one, but that's toxic in my head. So for you, it was just he wasn't doing right by you.
He wasn't doing right by me, and I felt like, because in that instance, in that particular relationship, I felt like it was toxic because after a while of someone making you seem like the reasons why you're angry is making you, like, making it look like you're crazy. Don't belittle my experiences or my feelings or my emotions just because you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we should have, like, an open, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through, this is whatever. You might not agree with it, but at least have the empathy or empathize with me enough to, just be like, okay, she's feeling this way, what can I do about it? Rather than she's feeling this way and what?
Yeah,
that's not a husband.
I agree.
To me, that's not.
I think that's toxic in its sense as well. It to be honest, the more you do that, it stems into mental or emotional.
You don't express yourself anymore,
because a lot of women, it starts off like that, and then it becomes a thing where the guy is very dumb. Is it dominating?
Let me just please him. Let me just keep quiet.
It's like he might be wrong, but it's like I'm sorry. The guy keeps going like that, and then it becomes abuse. It becomes emotional. The lady becomes, okay, I'm not gonna talk now because if I say something, it's gonna piss him off.
Yeah.
So I think it starts off like that.
And with him, there was the threats of, oh, maybe I'm not good enough for you. Can you go? After a while, I started saying, yeah, maybe I'm not.
Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, so
like, don't try to make me feel like. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you're actually not.
Yeah, so
but some girls will be like, oh no, baby, no.
Then the problem there is the girls in it.
Yeah,
it's not the man then.
It is.
Because for me, I feel like when we all talk about relationships, a lot of times girls always have this expectation from the guy.
Yeah. Okay, hold that thought. I want to hear, because you're finally opening your mouth to talk about this.
Yeah, man.
We're going to be right back, and you're going to finish that, because I want to hear your opinion on this. We'll be right back. Welcome back to ConvoTime. So before the break, we were talking about being in bad relationships, or as Lillian had said, toxic relationships, the word she used. And Toby, you were making a point before we took a break about it being the woman's fault.
Yeah, because I feel like definitely, like, women are always going to point the finger at the guy, but at the same time, you also have to, check yourself and look at it like, okay, I'm going from one toxic to another toxic to another toxic. Maybe it's me. You know what I mean? I feel like women, you guys, I don't want to generalize, but I feel like most women who always move from one toxic relationship to another, they never really want to own up to their own wrongs, and okay, maybe there's something wrong, I need to, like the attitude situation, do you know what I mean? Like, whereby you snap easily, because some guys, like, you need to understand, we're not ready. I don't think most guys will be in a hurry to get married. Do you know what I mean? So we're always laid back, but you guys you have that clock that you walk
biological
with.
clock.
So in your head, you're like, in 2 years, I want to marry this guy. What's he doing? True. And maybe he's like, yo, but you don't even... Because I feel like most guys want to marry a girl like their mom. And I don't think these guys would want to give their mom a toxic... Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see it.
I kind of agree with your point because, like, personally, after I got out of a really bad relationship in uni or whatever, I stayed by myself for a while. So like 5 years, literally no relationships, whatever, just focusing on my career. I'm focusing, okay, exactly what I wanted. I feel like a lot of women don't actually know what they want, so they just keep hip-hopping into different things, going with the flow. Who's going to give me a ring? Who's going to give me this? Who's going to give me that? But it's just kind of like, I don't think that they're actually using the time to reflect on exactly what they want before they jump into these situations. Yeah.
I think that's why I always tell like younger people and the youth in my church, I always tell them being single is not a problem. It is one of the most important time in your life. You need to enjoy your singleness because that is the moment you have to understand who you are. You know, we are in university, we do so many things, but when you come out and you're ripe and ready and you're like, okay, I'm ready to be in a serious relationship, that's the time before you even meet the guy. You need to work on you.
Exactly.
You need to know what you like. You need to know what you don't like before you meet a guy, because how is he supposed to know when you can't even tell him this is what I want, this is what I want.
You know what annoys me the most? The girls that are like, oh, I want a guy with a 6-pack. Do you go to the gym? I want a guy who has a house. Do you have savings? Do you have to contribute to that house?
You have £200 in your
Do you know what I mean? I want a nice shiny rig. Does your daddy get you anything that this man is supposed to get you? Like, do you get what I mean? Like
that whole thing that you just said, I feel like this 2018 that we are in, if there's a girl that's still going on about I want the man to do
X, Y, and Z.
I'm sorry, you need to check yourself
exactly.
Because we're in the era of women empowerment. I'm not trying to be a sound or whatever, but women should be able to do for themselves what, like, you shouldn't expect a man to do for you.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
He should compliment you.
Yes.
He's not your bank account.
And I feel like men, correct me, but I feel like men these days are looking for, you're not looking for a liability.
Yeah.
So relationship, marriage nowadays is about what are we both bringing to the table, not what are you bringing, my dear.
What are you taking?
When are you buying my ring? All that is when we're 15 years old. I believe is when we're like 15, 16, dreaming about, you know. But as you grow, your so-called list or whatever it's called should have graduated with you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you had to really think like, vagina is not everything. Like they just think because. Did you just say what?
Yes,
vagina is not everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everyone's like, my V game, my V card is on 100. It's like, girl, you going
for my V.
I see what you're saying.
Are we really going into this?
Yeah, we're gonna go into that because speaking about this whole relationship here, right? You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think every girl I've been with probably say they've been in a toxic relationship. Because I feel like growing up, I was pretty. No, I mean every girl I've been with.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or that you were toxic.
Yeah.
You toxic.
I really I cannot have this old petty idea whereby if you're gonna put me on a checklist, I'm gonna put you on the checklist, and my checklist is messed up. Like I broke up with a girl once because she was loud. I didn't tell her. Yeah, because I don't like people who chew loud. See,
you chew loud.
Yeah, you want to put me on the checklist. So let's go like that. You see, that's where I feel like women don't understand that sometimes when you come with a list, know that I'm also gonna check you. Like the whole idea of body count. You know, like you have girls who will come and be like, "Oh, I want a man that's like this." I can also go, "Well, I want a girl who's a virgin." Let's go.
That's true, but
when you coming at me, do you know what I mean? Like people don't really understand that you can't come with expectations and think I'm not going. And your expectations don't have to be. I don't have to be on the same level with you.
I just don't feel like there's anything wrong with expectations.
No, there isn't.
I feel like when you're trying to be with someone and you're trying to alter their whole being to meet your expectations is the problem.
Do you believe in growing together?
I believe in going together because the person I'm with now is like, it's different. Like we're on a level, like we're on literally the same level. I don't feel like I have to change him in any way to meet my expectations because he's just it. So like it's different if I'm with someone, they're not like my ideal, they're not meeting my expectations, and I'm spending my days nagging, complaining, shouting. That's when it becomes toxic because this person investigating. That's the worst one.
Is he with her?
Do you get what I mean? Like there's just trust. It's easy. It flows.
Yeah,
I feel like when
I feel like that's where you're. Like I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I believe in the whole idea of if we're in a relationship, we have to come. Like you know when they say a man would and a woman would meet, you know, become one. I feel like that means that we're gonna grow together. But when you say you're with someone who, it's like everything checks. For me, I'm
not even saying that because we fight. we fight,
opening up.
but at
Also,
the same time, it's just kind of like on the grand scale of things. Even though we fight, because I don't know what it is, but just because we align and because we're so like we fit,
so
the fights don't really matter. He's somebody I don't mind taking the bullshit from because.
So like when you guys fight, you talk about it after.
We talk about it after.
And
it's not toxic. Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's not like a case of we're throwing things. We literally fight over stupid things because we haven't got big things to fight about.
Okay, that's good. That makes sense. But can we please talk about signs?
Okay, that's true.
Because toxic relationship.
It's all well and good. You're right, because it's all well and good to say, okay, I've been in a toxic relationship.
If you're checking his phone, you're in a toxic relationship.
If you're what?
If you're checking his phone.
Yeah, I feel that way as well.
Can you explain that to me, please?
You shouldn't. There should just be a level.
Don't
of
touch
trust.
my phone.
But wait,
why can't I touch his phone?
Like
password.
I've never checked like Bay's phone right now, but my thumbprint is on his phone. His thumbprint's on my we don't do it.
Cute.
Why
we just don't do it.
Why do you have to have your thumbprint on his phone?
Like if he's like, there's cases where I leave my phone in his car, and then I don't know. It wasn't a case of we sat down and we were like, oh no,
it just
happens.
No, I'm sorry. I think to know your level of trust, is when you actually have each other's password or whatever,
honestly, and you don't even have to check.
You don't feel the need to check.
I don't feel the need to check.
I think you saying that you shouldn't know. That means I don't.
There's some things I feel like there's something to hide.
There are ways to enter the phone.
I feel it's not about hiding. Like I honestly feel like at some point, every man likes to have his own privacy.
I like my privacy too.
Yeah,
women like their privacy
when you have my password, it's not. I don't have that privacy.
So like right now, if you get married and stuff, like my impression of marriage is we become one.
That's what I was gonna.
We become one. Does not mean
can I want to say something.
Password.
Look, when you're single or when you're just dating or you're in a relationship, fine. I don't care.
It's my phone, not
but
our
I
phone.
believe that once we're married,
it's not our phone.
I'm not checking your phone, but.
If I need to see something,
I feel you shouldn't have a problem.
Do you know what I mean? If you're so open, if everything is rosy,
we are open. You know everything about me. You know when I get my salary, you know what's up. When I get the pin to my card, you know everything. So to the phone.
Yeah. Excuse me. Like
Let me show that question back to you guys. Like I want to ask all you three ladies now.
Okay.
So what would be like that one thing that you'd be like, yeah, that's toxic for you?
Hey.
For me,
yeah.
if we can't, like one of Lillian's ones, if we can't have an argument and trash it out and talk it out and then know, that's it, we fought, we now understand where we're at, and you understand me, I understand you, and we're back to normal. But if it's a case where I'm having an argument and you're basically going, yeah, and you're making it seem as if I'm mental in what I'm saying, then you're making me feel toxic.
Exactly.
I'm not a mental human being. I know I'm not mental, so don't make me mental.
Okay. All right.
Like for instance, now I have a perfect example because we had like a little argument. Sorry, babe. But essentially, because we're really like new into stuff like that. So like he's really into travel and stuff, and he has a load of his friends that he travels with and everything else. Came one day, told me he's traveling with one of his friends, and then he proceeds to tell me he's a she, but only 2 of them are going to travel.
I'm sorry. I feel like I will argue with you on that one as well. I'll help you.
So like I already was like, okay, I came with my attitude like, are you actually okay? But he was just kind of like, but I'm telling you about it. It hasn't actually happened. It's just I'm letting. But like it's pretty new for us. So like I have to understand. Okay, he's just telling me these things. Sometimes it's not like he's gonna action it, but. The winning thing there was he didn't make me feel like I was crazy or say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go anyway because that was what I was doing before I met you. He heard me.
Also, he's matured. He's
he heard me. He was like, okay, I see how you're feeling and whatever. Do you want to come on the trip with us? Will it make you feel comfortable or whatever? Later to find out the person is engaged. She's bringing her husband as well. But I didn't know any of that.
Oh, okay.
So
before I say my name, I just wanted to say something I've always said. I think like it makes sense that he understood or whatever, but I think as women sometimes we also need to. This thing is personal to me because I have PhD in that thing. Ask my husband. In fact, if there's anything higher, I have it.
Talk later.
I don't listen. The moment you tell me, excuse me, what? No.
Yeah, see,
so it took me time, and it took him telling me that calm down. What you don't kill yourself because. Things will happen in this life, in this marriage, a lot of things, but you can't just jump on every single thing. So it took me time, and now I've gotten to the stage where, okay, he tells me, but I still have to tell I have to tell myself, Regina, calm down. Don't jump here. Don't jump.
Yeah,
don't jump. Let it
finish.
and then or let me find a reason. Let me see a reason or evidence why I need to.
Yeah,
because approach is everything. There's sometimes that he will tell you something or she will tell you something, and you're like, you jump at it and it pisses them off. There's sometimes they tell you something and you approach it in a way that, okay, but and then slightly just drop your point in there. It sticks more.
Better.
I feel it sticks more to them than the other way. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
What's your point?
My you said something about
identifying.
Yeah.
What Loretta said, number one.
Okay.
And another thing is abuse. I don't deal with physical
Definitely not.
abuse.
No.
Like that's my number one.
By the time you raise,
is it pet peeve?
out the
Okay.
door.
Like I can't.
Don't
I
raise
can't.
your hands.
Like I can't. I really just can't. Like even right now, my temperature is rising.
Yeah, you're not about
Just
Okay, let's not rise too much.
No,
I want to quickly get Lillian's point.
Okay, all of your points, but my biggest one is when you try to be condescending or patronizing. Like I'm very smart. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm very smart. Like, let's do things together. Don't ever try to like make me feel like little or already I have small woman syndrome. So don't even try to make me feel small. Like we're gonna have a problem.
Okay.
So if someone is cheating, like sorry to cut you short there, but now I want to ask: is this a toxic relationship? A girl is dating a guy who gives her everything. He loves her. He treats her better, but if he feels that a man can sleep around until he's married.
Okay.
Do you feel like that's a toxic
We're going
relationship?
to round up, and I'm going to put that question, Toby's question, to you guys.
We need a part 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we do.
Maybe we need a part 2.
Because
I have to touch on that. I have to touch on that.
Sorry, what? He just dropped
He
a
just
huge
dropped it
one.
at the end. How can you, like, why?
Mic drop.
Insult me.
Mic drop.
Okay.
Guys, you answer that question. Perhaps we will do a part 2, but I want you to answer it. All our social media platforms are rolling down the screen below. Answer Toby's question. Does that mean if he's in a relationship, he can cheat up until they get married? Does that make sense?
Could make sense.
Okay. You answered the question. We will see you next time for Convo Time. Have a good one.